What's up, guys? Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. Today we're talking about hard gainers. Hard gainers.
Who are you calling a hard gainer? Look.
Easy, soldier. Hard gainers. And honestly, guys, when it comes to hard gainers, we can a lot of times call them undereaters because we know that nutritionally it's very difficult to add muscle when you are very, very much an undereater.
Yeah.
And when we talk about that, though, I've always been on the side of the fence that you want to not sacrifice, never sacrifice nutrient-dense foods. Nutrient-dense foods is sometimes just as important as the overall amount of food that you bring in, because Jesse was actually at one point very much eating a lot of food, but nothing good, right?
No, it was all shit. It was cheeseburgers, well, not good cheeseburgers, like McDonald's, you know,
right.
Pizza, crap like that.
Right, I mean, just ice cream and cake,
Yeah.
That's all he ate. It's very difficult to build high quality muscle when you're eating nothing but garbage. And when you trade off for some nutrient quality, here's the problem. And this is where a lot of hard gainers, I think, trip up, is that it becomes very difficult to eat calorically dense foods when you're eating nutrient dense foods. I've just said a mouthful there. When you're eating nutrient dense foods, a lot of times they are not packed with many calories. I'm going to give you some options later, but they're not really packed with many calories. So as you start to clean up the quality of your nutrition, and Jesse's an athlete, I believe in high quality nutrition to fuel athletes, then it becomes more challenging for you to eat more. So what I want to do in this video is show you and give you specific strategies that actually Jesse has used himself here to try to allow himself to eat more. Because guys, it's just like training. There's a process to this and it doesn't happen overnight, all right? So the very first thing that you want to do is you cannot try to cram additional calories into the same number of meals. Let's say you're eating 3 times a day. Trying to do and cram additional calories or a significant amount of calories into those additional 3 meals is oftentimes setting you up for failure, as Jesse can attest to. And someone actually not even 3 meals, no?
No, it was 2 meals. I wasn't eating breakfast. It was lunch and dinner, but it was, never anything really that great. But even when I tried to add more food to those 2 meals, or even if I had breakfast and I tried to add substance to those meals, I feel sick, I feel nauseous or uncomfortable, too full, too fast. It wasn't working.
It's the equivalent of actually going in, if you're a 225-pound bencher and going and trying to bench 400 pounds. It's not going to work. What you need to do is you need to start increasing the number of times that you eat in a day. And it's not the magical 6 meals. That's not, we've obviously proven that that's not even necessary for building muscle. But for hard gainers, what it does is it gives you more eating opportunities. So that's the very first thing you want to do. Piling on top of that now, and something Jesse actually did, was physically setting reminders to eat.
Yeah, I set reminders on my phone for every few hours. Just a reminder.
It's the concussions, it's the 20 concussions that make this mandatory for Jesse.
It's part of it, but sometimes we get so caught up in work, we get caught up, as students, we get caught up in school, everything like that. Honestly, sometimes we just forget to eat. And when you're not hungry all the time, it's easy to skip those meals. So I have an alarm on my phone that says, every couple hours, eat your breakfast, eat your snack, eat your lunch, eat your dinner.
And guys, it's going to feel like adding weight to the bar. If you know that you have to add weight to the bar in this workout to be progressive from the last time you trained, you need to bump up your calories progressively as well. So it becomes a mandatory part of the process. The next thing is chronicling the food that you eat. And I'm talking about doing this, guys. I am not a guy who talks about and advocates writing down everything you eat. That becomes monotonous and it actually becomes defeating over the long term. But when you're a hard gainer, the one thing forget hard gainer, guys trying to lose weight and guys trying to gain weight, the number one thing, I ask for one thing, and I've told you this story before, I ask for one thing: write down 2 or 3 days of what you eat, every single thing that you put in your mouth. And to this day, I still think I'm only at about 5 that I've ever received back from somebody. You know why? Because when you ask somebody to actually chronicle what they eat and put in everything they put into their mouth over the course of a couple days, it becomes eye-opening for them themselves. What happened to you?
I was embarrassed, honestly. I saw how little I was eating. I thought I was eating
He thought he was eating a ton. And a lot of times what people do is they tend to not eat anywhere near what they think. And the people that are struggling with weight loss go and they start writing down what they eat, and they forget all the little things that they kind of forgot that they actually ate, and it becomes very apparent that they're eating too much. The next thing that you'd want to do is you want to actually appreciate the value of liquid calories, right? Because liquid calories are a lot easier to consume than are sometimes going and chewing and chewing and chewing more and more and more solid food.
100% facts.
Right, so give me a couple examples of what you did.
I started off with smoothies. Mostly now I like to have protein shakes or a milkshake and throw some whey in there because I feel like it's tasty and I'm able to get that protein.
I mean, guys, people have used a gallon of milk, right? I mean, I think Jesse Jesse actually had a little bit of experience. Guys, I'm not an advocate of the gallon of milk. In all seriousness, a lot of times what happens is, yes, there's a lot of calories in the GOMAD approach. However, it does start to really very much interfere with your ability to even tolerate and want to eat additional solid foods because
it wreaked havoc on my stomach.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It's difficult, but I mean, milk itself is a very viable, calorically dense food that you can eat that is actually in liquid form and
I've added a glass of milk with to my breakfast and to dinner as well, just because it's a few extra calories and it's easy to drink it.
So I mentioned calorically dense.
Yeah.
The last thing that you have to do is you want to start making the calorie dense, nutrient dense foods staples in your diet. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, there are some that actually meet both criteria. I mentioned in the beginning how challenging it is, but some of the things that meet that criteria, you're talking about natural peanut butter.
Yes, I love peanut butter.
Avocados.
Yep.
Eggs.
Yeah.
Right? Anything else? Anything that you've eaten? We mentioned whole milk.
I like to have a can of nuts, usually almonds or peanuts, just because I like to have a little bit of extra protein.
And people never eat like a handful of nuts.
No,
like usually
it's a big handful numerous times throughout the day.
So healthy fats, guys, those are the things that, again, I think when you're trying to gain weight, they're not optional. They become staples. They need to become staples of your diet each and every day.
Yeah, and like for a few weeks, every single day, it was 3 peanut butter and banana sandwiches just to have throughout the day because, 1, I love peanut butter, and 2, I love banana, but also it was giving me those extra calories, and it was, as you're saying, good. It was good food.
So guys, we're going to get into this in a whole nother video about whether or not hard gainers, you're not doomed by being a hard gainer. There's differences in skeletal width, as we talked about in the video with comparing Jesse's skeleton to, say, Jinder Mahal. There's differences in the amount of muscle you can actually pack on a frame because of that. But it doesn't mean that if you're skinny right now that you're doomed to be that. There's a great capacity to change from being a hard gainer to being someone who's much more happy with how they look. But a lot of times it starts and ends with your nutrition and making sure that you're eating more of what you do. Hopefully these strategies are going to give you guys a way to do that. If you're looking for step-by-step plans and nutrition plans that map this all out for you guys, head to ATHLEAN-X.com right now and get one of our ATHLEAN-X training programs. We actually have our meal plans built in with options to help you to not only consume more food, but smarter food choices to do that. In the meantime, if you found the video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below. If you're happy Jesse's back, leave your comments and thumbs up below. Just not too many.
Come on.
All right, guys, we'll be back here again in just a couple days with another video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video when we put one out. All right, guys, see you soon.